Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So let us stand when you are able, and we'll sing our joy song, which is projected on the wall. So I'm wearing 1,000 hats today.
You're doing it well.
Okay, hold on just a second. All right, do we have any visitors today? I'd like to welcome everybody today. Okay, also if you please put your phones on silent, turn them off, whatever, you don't want to interrupt the service. Today our speaker is Dr. Maurita, and our special musician is Joy Truskowski. Happy to have you here. Okay, and our first hymn is number 1, Abide With Me, verses 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, Abide With Me, verses 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I forgot to read. Well, one of my hats fell off. I was supposed to read this before we sang, so. Okay, here we go. I am willing to become as a little child. What are the characteristics of the child mind? Responsiveness, certainly. Responsiveness plus that meekness of which Jesus spoke in the Sermon on the Mount. This form of meekness does not mean that the individual is open to every external suggestion, but that his is open to the voice of the Christ within. How few inhibitions bind the child. He has to be taught the word impossible. He has not yet built a wall of other people's experiences around his own creative mind. When a brave new idea comes to him, he does not immediately become cautious because the idea has never occurred to his parents or his friends. He does not know that the idea has never occurred to them. Thus, he does not consider it fantastic or impractical from mere habit of thought. I must set about cleansing my own subconsciousness of its accumulated beliefs and limitation if I would become like a little child. As an adult, I can pick and choose what I wish to accept from the experience of others. I will choose the factors which build up my faith and my optimism, but I will remain as open-minded as a little child to new thoughts and ideas. I will listen to the Christ mind when it speaks. And that comes to us from Nona Brooks.
This morning, I am going to read a little more of Nona Brooks, actually, as our Bible reading. She said, "Let us be very sure that in every problem, the highest, the most certain, the most powerful and harmonious solution is to turn to the Christ mind within, saying from the heart, I wish to be guided. I'm willing to do what thy wisdom leads me to do. I rejoice in thy guidance, Father, and go forward trusting in thee." And she lived this. And so did Melinda Kramer, our founder. Melinda Kramer started a magazine without having one subscription to it. And her husband told her very clearly, you're going to have to write the whole magazine and send it out, even if it's to one person, if they've got a subscription to it. And she said, God will take care of it. And he did. There came a time when she was sending out her Harmony magazine to people all over the world. Trust. Trust that you can be guided. Don't we have moments in our lives, truly, when we just don't know which one to take, which path, this person or that person to call up and do something that we need in our home. Somebody to help us think this financial thing through. Someone who is knowledgeable about how I handle this particular situation in my family. Who do I talk to? Where can I go? When the greatest wisdom in the universe is accessible to every single one of us. We forget. We forget this. Consequently, we need to get still and ask for help. So simple. Not fancy words, not fancy ideas. Just help me, huh? And the answer will come. The answer will come forth through another person, through a book we might pick up, through something we see on TV, or something somebody mentions even. But it will be there. The manna is available every morning, just as it was for the Israelites so long ago. Following Moses out into the desert, there weren't any stop and shop places. They only took what they could put on their backs. And foolishly, instead of taking lots of food, they got all their neighbors to give them some fancy, necklaces and whatever, jewelry. But how would you do it? How would you do that? Follow a man out into a wilderness. Except that he showed them that they had to depend on God. Had to. There was no other place. Nowhere else to go. And it was there. Every morning. Manna. In the dew of the morning. God, this substance that would keep them through the day. And every night, the quails came, and they were able to take those and cook them and eat them. But that's the way it is for us. Just a little bit of trust. And once you put that trust out there, well, then you say, well, maybe it will work. And then it happens again, and it happens again, and again, and again, and your trust grows, and the manna will be there. God will take care of this. And he does. Time after time after time. You look back in your life, you can see it clear as day. We have to keep remembering. Have to keep knowing, trusting, and watch out for the good, because it'll come forth. Shall we say our divine science statement of being? You'll find it in your orders of service. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
This is a song I wrote called Breathe, and it's about how we all need each other, and goes hand in hand with the idea that we need God, because God is in all of us. We're all the expression. It's sort of a plea because we have the divisions that make us feel like we don't need each other, and it's a reminder. The mother sings while the baby sleeps. She anticipates each steady breath. The mother waits while the child leaves. She lets him go, watches helplessly. And she knows we need. She knows we need each other to breathe. When you're driving home, you stare straight ahead. Road full of souls, yet you're all alone. And we've built this life like a prison cell. Lock ourselves inside, and we lose our love. Don't you know we need? Don't you know we need? Don't you know we
It's time for our healing meditation. So we still ourselves and go within. And first take a deep breath. And exhale it as slowly as we can. And another one. And check our faces and our jaws and our shoulders to make sure they're relaxed. Our backs, arms, hands, stomach, legs, and feet. And let a peace that's larger than us, seep into our minds and our bodies and quiet, at least for a little while, the torrent of thoughts, ideas that usually fill our heads. Just feeling the air coming into the lungs and being gently released. That can begin to quiet us sufficiently so that we can listen to that still small voice within. The voice that is always there for us. That source of faith, joy, understanding, peace, love, and every good. So much good we have already experienced. So much. So much to be thankful for. And so much more to be thankful for which will come forth from the future. For our expectation in God is abounding good, a clear path, knowing what to do, the best decisions, the creative idea, the sense of calm in the midst of perhaps storm around us. That peace within heals us from the inside out when we address it on a regular basis, when we remember to get still. Oh, Father, in you there is no storm. There is only peace in good. And making our home in you periodically, remembering your presence, giving thanks for the synchronicities in our lives, noticing them, and being grateful. Becoming aware of all the blessings, the unseen ones that fill our lives with comfort and a sense of security. Giving thanks for those as well. In the next 90 seconds of silence, I invite you to still yourself more and more deeply. For as you do so, a hidden support, a hidden love becomes more visible. The support, the love, the peace, the understanding, the good of God not only fills you, but you begin to see it popping up all over your life experience. Right now, look at your blessings. Right now, see how often you can attribute them to God. Right now, feel that support, that omnipresence, that love, that peace and wisdom. Right now. Come to me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. In the peace that fills you when you turn within. Burdens are eased. Inspiration is received. Good is recognized. Love is felt. We give thanks, always, for the bounty that has been set before us, that we sometimes see and sometimes do not. Today, from now on, we make that time to recognize the bounty, to expect nothing less, and to give thanks to the author of it all. Amen. Shall we say the Lord's Prayer together? This is from the Aramaic, from the Nora Institute, Nora Foundation. Together, Our Father, who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error. Because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. This morning I'm going to be talking about the power of the Word. Well, I want to start with the Lamb's translation of the Bible, and I want to read from Isaiah 55:11, and it goes, "So shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall do what I please, and it shall accomplish that for which I sent it." You know, the Divine Science Federation sends out meditations, be on a daily or twice weekly basis, whatever you want. But I received one recently that included this quote from Isaiah, and I was going to be talking about the Word today, and I thought, this is fortuitous. Here's one of those synchronicities. And the meditation that was given after it, I thought was very good, and I wanted to share it with you this morning. God spoke the Word, and the universe and everything in it came into manifestation. God was pleased with the wholeness of creation and pronounced it very good. God's Word is evidence of God's power, eternally revealing more and more of God and God's own creation. By consciously recognizing this self-revelation of God, we are also carrying forward all of creation by our every thought and word. What an awesome responsibility this is. The Word of God is indwelling in mankind, so our every spoken word has great power. It is not just our affirmations which have the power to manifest. A word said in jest, a throwaway line, a thoughtless decree can also manifest and bring forth unexpected results. Words said in anger and with great feeling can bounce back to us and bestow the very thing we had decreed for another upon ourselves. Jesus, our master teacher, said in the Gospel of Matthew 12:37, "By your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be found guilty." So, we must watch our words very carefully. We have within us all the creative power needed to build a better world, so let us build it with positive words. That was written by Reverend Dr. Sylvia Erickson, who serves at the First Divine Science Church of Australia. You know, I recently read that we have, on an average, between 20 and 50,000 thoughts a day. I was astonished at that number, but even if it's hard to believe, even if it isn't quite true, at least for all of us, we know for a fact that our thoughts range over a huge variety of subjects every single day. Some thoughts stick around for a long time. We go over them and over them and over them. Other thoughts or reactions are just events that come up all of a sudden, and we think about those intensely. Some thoughts are solely focused on what we do, our work. That's where our main focus sometimes is. Now, still other thoughts are stories we tell ourselves, where we're the hero, or sadly, we're the victim, or the one who answers someone so elegantly and cleverly that they're left speechless. Quite fun. Sometimes we're thinking less than loving thoughts. Thoughts about another person, remembering some unkind words that came out of their mouth, or perhaps regretting our own unkind words, and evoking the feelings we felt when they were first said. Sometimes we correct our thoughts. We hear ourselves, and we try to change that, so we're not carrying that negative thought with us in our heads. We might use a spiritual phrase like we've heard, perhaps here or read someplace, and inwardly we agree with that thought, like, don't judge or you'll be judged. Or, look for the good in that person, not the bad. Or, you did the best you could at the time. You know better now, and from now on you're going to do a lot better yourself. Or, let it go. He or she they were having a bad day. That's what happened to them. Or, one of my favorites is, haven't you made the same mistake or something similar? I stand usually condemned by that question. I can't really criticize another person because I might have well done something just like that. And that, no doubt you have your own favorite sayings that you bring yourself back with. You bring yourself back to a more positive state of mind. But Dr. Erickson pointed out so clearly and so effectively that we are powerful spiritual beings, God's children, and we have the inherent ability to affect our environment through our thoughts, through our intentions and our words, and certainly our acts. For a moment, I want to revisit a statement of Albert Einstein's, and I've said it many times in this room. Matter is energy slowed down in visibility, or rather in vibration, to the point of visibility. I want to say that one more time. Matter is energy slowed down in vibration to the point of visibility. We see ourselves as matter, but we are actually manifestations of energy. Our thoughts, our intentions, our words are just at a slightly faster energy vibration. But body, thoughts, and words all are part of and are constantly interacting with the infinite number of forms of energy that are all around us. We are broadcasting stations of energy. Our thoughts, our words, our acts are determined and certainly shaped by whether they happen to be about peace and harmony and love, or perhaps they're not so helpful. Perhaps they're more negative, unkind. Maybe we are exuding a destructive energy in our homes, in our workplace, school, in our social groups. Dr. Erickson says very emphatically in the same meditation, words said in anger, in jest, or thoughtlessly, words said with great feeling can bounce back to us and bestow the very thing we had decreed for another upon ourselves. And then she went on. The Word of God is indwelling in humankind. So our every spoken word has great power. And her final statement was, we have within us all the creative power needed to build a better world. So let us build it with our positive words. Truth is never confined to one spiritual teaching, one guru, one teacher, or one discipline. In the book that we are reading on Wednesday night, discussing, and by Dr. David Hawkins, he writes this, and you can hear the echoes in his words. Every thought, action, decision, or feeling creates an eddy in the interlocking, interbalancing, ever-moving fields of energy in life, leaving a permanent record for all of time. In this interconnected universe, every improvement we make in our private world improves the world at large for everyone. He also adds, we attract to us that which we emanate. Yeah, sounds familiar. So many truth teachers are saying exactly the same things, little different words, yes. Sometimes beautiful, sometimes very plain. But they are saying them with words. But there is one truth teacher who has expressed these truths with pictures. With pictures. And this morning I want to share some of those pictures with you. And I'm able to do that because of the kind help of Nancy Stokes over there and Bob Dieter, God bless him. I'm so grateful to the both, or I wouldn't be able to do that this morning. The person who developed the techniques that show how words affect our environment is a Japanese gentleman by the name of Masaru Emoto. Maybe you've never heard of him, but his work has been known for quite a long time. He's written 12 books, goodness, and goes back to late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Mr. Emoto happened to discover the truth that words, spoken or printed, will have a profound effect on, in his case, water. Words affect water. Now, let me explain how this works. Actually, words affect a great deal more than just water, but water is the medium that Mr. Emoto deals with. Now, in explaining this, I have to explain it this way. Mr. Emoto developed the skill of making photographs of frozen water. He would just take plain old tap water and put it in a jar on his desk. Now, plain Tokyo water out of a faucet will not create crystals when it's frozen because it has chlorine in it and probably some other impurities. But if you put a label on the side of the jar with words like truth or love and thanks, the water will change. And when it's frozen, it will produce beautiful crystals when it shouldn't, because it's the same chlorinated water. But the words will change the quality of the water. Sometimes people would speak out loud those words when they walked past the jar, and sometimes they wouldn't at all. But the meaning of the words on the side of the bottle would change the quality of the water. Strange as that may sound. Now, Mr. Emoto conducted a great many different experiments. He wanted to try this stuff out. In one case, at 2 o'clock one afternoon, he had 500 people all over Japan say out loud, "The water on the director's desk in Shinagawa, Tokyo, has become clear." Simple sentence, isn't it? Don't know even how much thought went into it. Just saying the words. The power of the words. 5 minutes later, they took the jar of water and put it in the freezer. 3.5 hours later, they pulled it up. A staff researcher came in shaking his head. The water had produced perfectly beautiful crystals from 500 people around the country saying those simple words. Another time, to prove that distance has no effect on the power of words, Mr. Emoto happened to be in Israel at the time, and he asked the people who were attending the seminar that he was giving to meet him for a few minutes at the River Jordan at 8 a.m. in the morning. They were to send words of prayer to that jar, another jar of water that was sitting on his desk back in Tokyo. And what they were asked to say was, "Water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you." And they were to say it 3 times. And then join him in 1 minute of meditation. Just saying a few words. A class standing on the bank of the Jordan River. Well, of course, his staff back in Tokyo, it was the middle of the night in Tokyo, some 6,000 miles away, froze the water that had been sitting in the jar on his desk. His seminar started 3 hours later after they met at the Jordan at 11 o'clock in the morning. Toward the end of the lecture, an email picture arrived, and it was automatically shown on the screen at the front of the room. A beautiful crystal. It was yet another experiment. And for us, kind of meaningful, because it was done at the Fujiwara Dam in Japan. The quality of the water was bad, and it was changed after an hour of prayer and incantation by a Buddhist priest. Now, doesn't that demonstrate the power of prayer? Sometimes with no particular thought, just repeating words. How much more powerful it is when there is a feeling behind the words, when there is intent, when there is purpose. I'd like to show you the slide of the dam water before the Buddhist priests. No, that's love and thanks.
Well, that was the first one in the series you sent me. I put them in that order.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
so...
think you could find, there it is, the dam water, before the incantations and prayers. I think you could find the second one. Dam water after the incantations and prayers. A heptagonal crystal appeared as well. Water can be changed in that way remarkable. Another slide, if you please.
Well, which one? Want love and thanks?
After this, it isn't really important.
Oh,
Any
you
one.
want love and thanks?
Love and thanks. Beautiful, beautiful crystal. And this was just printed on the side of the jar with a label. Truth. Another beautiful crystal, every one unique, different. War. So it wasn't assured that that water would not reflect exactly what was on the side of the jar on the label. How ugly that is. I thought this one was so interesting, the Koran. Very different, very unique and beautiful. Happy Christmas. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Those words. Christmas evokes such wonderful memories. Yes. So, for so many.
That was it.
That's it. Okay. Well, have I made my case? Doesn't the power of the word sound much more powerful to you now than it did before? By the way, I have the book from which these pictures came, right on the table, on the chair, I should say, over there. So come up and take a look at the book after the service. Now, to summarize what I've been talking about, I want to go back to Isaiah. My word will not return to me void. It will accomplish that for which I sent it. Your word is so much more powerful than you think. God has created us so that our words and our thoughts have more power than we can ever imagine. Depending on the intention, the emotions behind them, words and thoughts can change material things, like water. They can also change hearts and minds and bodies. Remember, babies and children are 65% water. The average male is 60% water. The average female is about 55% water. If words could change the water sitting on the desk in Tokyo, how can they affect yourself and other people? If prayer can change polluted dam water, certainly consistent, heartfelt prayer can change situations and people. Sincere prayer for yourself will change the little dark places that everyone has and make them lighter. Your prayer for peace in our world will bring the world incrementally closer to the peace that we all want so much. Don't doubt. Remember this. Remember this. Use your God-given power of positive thought and prayer to bring about a greater peace within you, wherever you are, and throughout our world. Shall we go within? Created in His image and likeness, with powers we know not of, and it's a good thing, because we could well abuse them. But as our intention is right, as we seek the good, as we seek the presence of God's will in everything we do, as we seek the higher path, we are helped. And greater power is given us. We understand more clearly our responsibility in the world. The change begins in every single life, in every person's thoughts. But the change that goes on within each of us can change the world. Let us use the power of thought in the most beneficial, loving, kind way. Thank you, dear father, mother, friend, companion, protector, guide, that we might watch our words, because they are powerful. Amen.
I've been passionate about getting people to sing together, that it creates a really powerful connection. And, so when we were talking earlier about, I'm going to try this thing and maybe it's not going to work, but there's a little voice in my head that says, have faith, try it anyway. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do with you right now. So I usually play this loop station thing in front of my feet and push buttons and make things repeat. But today I'm going to try having you guys be my loop station. So this is a chant called Spirit. It's very simple. Don't be afraid. La. I need to get the D in my head. Do, 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 do. All right. So when I give you a part, you can just, it repeats, you'll pick it up, and then the method of conducting is when I look and close my hands, I cut you off. That's like hitting the stop button on the loop station. And then when I open my hands again, you go again. So we'll try this, we'll see how it works. All right, so this half of the room. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break Dum, 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 dum. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. Everyone can fear it and no one can break my spirit. Everybody to chant. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. One more time with feeling. I'm gonna hear it and I'm not gonna fear it and no one can break my spirit. Good job, you guys. That was a challenge. It was a challenge that I put you up to. Thank you for singing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But can you feel it? Like when we sing together, we're connected. It's a beautiful thing.
That was fun. If you warn me the next time, I can put the words up there. We can really sing. That would even be better. That would even be better. That'd be terrific. Okay, so now's the time in our service when we share our gifts. And if you'll open your order of service to the middle there, and there is our blessing of the gifts prayer, which we will all say together. Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Not too many prayer requests, but you know the power of prayer. You know the power of your word to help these people. So take something and pray for you.
Good morning. Let's do that again, Joanne. That was fun. Before we get started on the announcements, do you have anything about the ecumenical service? I know it's coming up next Sunday, but you haven't given me any information, so I don't know where it is and when it is, or...
Yes, and I left it at home.
Okay.
It's at 3. It's at 3, but I'm not sure which church it's at. It's not at Our Lady of Nazareth. I know that.
Okay.
And it's
It's
not,
not here.
and it's not at the Brethren Church, so it's at the Methodist maybe?
I believe it's
That
the
sounds
Methodist
right.
Church.
So it's going to be at 3 in the afternoon?
3 o'clock.
They've changed that then, okay. All right, I'll
Wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. That's,
3, it's usually 7 at
it's 7.
okay.
There's a concert at Our Lady of Nazareth at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Everyone's welcome to attend.
Okay.
It's a Christian artist.
Is that next Sunday also?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, that's why 3 was sticking in my mind. And then it's the 7 o'clock, yes.
Okay. do we have to provide anything? That's my main
I have
concern.
not been notified that we have to provide anything, but if we do, I will find out tomorrow morning.
Okay, yeah, because we would like to know before next Sunday. Okay, all right, thank you. If you get that to me, I'll make a one call and a text on it and everything. Okay, thanks. All right, let's see what the announcements are today. As you know, we're having a Thanksgiving dinner for the folks that have no other place to go or do on Thanksgiving. So if you've signed up, good. If you haven't, you still want to sign up, please do so. There's a sign-up sheet in there, and Ann Dealer is in charge of that. So she's not here today, but she'll be in contact with everybody about what to bring and what time it is and all that. Also, coming up the first weekend in December, we're going to have our Christmas party, but we're going to do a little something different instead of having it here. And the board thought they would take a break and we'd go out to dinner because everybody's been working so hard. And so instead of trying to get a party together, we're going to go to Jersey Lily's on December the 7th at 6:30. We have a room reserved there, so I have a sign-up sheet out just like for people to sign up, so I know how many people are actually going. We still got 2 or 3 weeks on that, but I mean, it's going to be here before we know it. I mean, Thanksgiving is like right around the corner. Are you having the Healing Circle
Yes.
Thursday night? Okay,
This Thursday.
okay. Healing Circle this Thursday night at 6:30. The flowers are donated by Norm for rats. Norm's not here today, so I think rats are his favorite animal or something. Is that correct? Anyhow, the other thing, this lastly, but I wanted to, as most of you know, we started talking back in August, I guess, about getting new chairs for the sanctuary. So we worked on that. As you know, they have been ordered. We've had lots of people donate money. We've had lots of people that paid for the whole price of the chair. We've had people that donated a little money. We've had people that have donated their time for these sales that we've had. The cost of the chairs were $7,200. As of yesterday, when Laurel counted the money, we have $6,900 towards it. So,
Oh, my.
we like about, so everybody give yourself a hand because everybody, I don't care what, you might think I haven't done much, but the people that were in these sales, we've had sales, the store sales from just September through what we did last weekend, over $1,000. So, it's been a lot of hard work, but it's been worth the effort. And the new chairs will be here hopefully by the first of the year, a little bit after. So we do want to sell these chairs. So if anybody knows anybody that might want to purchase them, let me know. But we're going to try to sell them so we'll get back a little bit of money. That will go towards something else. But anyhow, I appreciate everything that everybody's done. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work. We've had people work the yard sales, everything. Every little bit helps. And so I personally want to thank everybody. Also, I want to thank everybody for being flexible today. As the order of service said, Doug was supposed to speak, but he called me this morning. Well, he didn't call me, he texted me. He had no voice. So in the meantime, I get in touch with Melanie, and she's very flexible at 6 o'clock this morning saying she will speak. Well, in the meantime, Maurita thinks she's supposed to speak, so it all worked out. So we appreciate that. So anyhow, y'all keep Doug in prayer. He's lost his voice, but he also got a cold, so he'll be back here next week, I'm sure, raring to go. So again, I thank everybody for being flexible. Nancy for stepping up and doing what she had to do this morning, so I appreciate everything. As I always do, I appreciate everything everybody does here, so thank you all very much. Thank you, Joy, for the wonderful music. I just Joy, you've got the right name. I've told you that before, because you just do it. Do you have anything else that you have in class Wednesday night?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the week of Thanksgiving, are you having class that week?
No, we will not have class that Wednesday.
Okay, all right, cool. All right,
Jan?
Can I just
Sure.
add to
Sure.
what I was saying about
Sure.
the neighboring Catholic Church, Our Lady of Nazareth, next Sunday at 3 o'clock. Mitch McVickers, he is a singer, Christian singer-songwriter, and he wrote and sang with the great late Rich Mullins, if anybody knows that Christian artist. And Rich Mullins died in a car wreck, and Mick Vickers was with him, so he had some serious injuries and has written a lot out of his, recovering from that and being with the great Rich Mullins when he died. So everyone's welcome. It's a free concert. There's a love offering. It's at 3 o'clock. So I was wanting everybody to know here, so maybe you could go to the concert and then we could all go to the
And we went
ecumenical.
last year, and
Came
it
last
really
year.
was a nice
Okay.
concert.
All right. So we'll announce it again next Sunday so that people won't forget, maybe they'll go. Okay, all right, cool, great. And you had something, Joy? Go right ahead.
Just really quick, I'm starting a circle singing group. I went to a circle singing training over the summer, and it's gonna be the first Saturday of every month at the Unitarian Church. I have little flyers with me if you're interested, but it's kind of similar to what we did today, but we all stand in a circle, and it's more close-knit, and it's really fun. So, yeah, take a flyer if you're interested. There's flyers up in
So we got a flyer on the front and backboard, so anyhow, yeah, that's great. Great, I think I'm done.
Wait,
Oh, yes, ma'am?
November birthday, and I say this because this Wednesday is my birthday, 82. 82.
Never done that.
Happy birthday, Lee.
Yes. Let's sing happy birthday. Okay.
Birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Lee, happy birthday to you.
And many more. Hey.
Well, thank you for sharing. Okay, so now we are at our last hymn. You stand when you are able. It is number 59, Sweet Hour of Prayer, number 59, and we will do verses 1 and 2.
Hand in hand, acknowledge the power within us, the God-created power that we have through our word, through our thought, and certainly through our deeds. How wondrous a blessing we can be to life if we but seek to do this. How we can change bodies, minds, spirit, the world, by changing ourselves and then sending forth those thoughts of love, appreciation, kindness. For this gift, beloved Father, Mother, friend, we give deepest thanks. Amen.
Amen.